How y'all doing today, folks? Now, today I have a knife that I've been saying that they needed to make a sprint run of this for I don't know how many years now. It's a long fucking time. The Spyderco knife Subvert came out in this super aggressive, like neon orange G10 with CPM S30V, which is a decent steel, but it's a steel that's pretty much everywhere. The edge retention is subpar. It's not bad if you actually want to use it. Spyderco's heat treat is actually really good, so I'm not gonna be one of those guys that go, "Oh, S30V is a shitty steel." No, it's definitely not a shitty steel. It's actually pretty goddamn good, but we're all a bunch of picky fuckers and we want something more. And it took them like, what, 5, 6 years, something like that, like a while, to be able to do it. But they finally released it, and man, I love this knife. This gorgeous freaking carbon fiber, beautiful satin CPM 20 CV blade. Really just kind of a strange looking blade shape. I actually first got this in hand, and I was like, man, I hate this. I almost fucking just gave it back or whatever. So I was actually driving to Arizona, excuse me, to North Carolina. And while driving from California to North Carolina, I passed through Arizona and I saw a knife store on the side of the floor, on the side of the road or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, talk to my girl, you mind if we go there real quick? They had a lot of different cool stuff there. And they also had this for $420. A little steep, but I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. And then they showed me the tax. And that shit somehow creeped up to almost $500, but I had already bought it at that point in time. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I am reviewing this from the standpoint of this being a just under $500 knife, which puts it in the same league as the Umnumzan, as the Sebenzas of the world, just under Custom Knife Factory, like the Evos and everything else. The fuck is that? Ew. Like the Evos and everything else. It's like a sunflower seed or some shit on there. And that puts it in really steep territory. Now, Spyderco recently did a sale, which pissed me off so fucking much, to where you could get this knife for about $300. I almost never, can you see the rage on my face? I almost never, right, buy knives new. I buy almost exclusively on the secondary market because I love all of you guys. I love interacting with you and bullshitting back and forth. I've made great friends that way. And I've just overall had a very, very continuously positive experience. So I just don't normally buy things, new, but it's a sprint run. This had literally just come out or whatever. It was released online or and something like that. And I guess they just happen to have one. So I'm thinking this is going to be like a super hard to find knife or whatever. They're still everywhere. Like you can get them pretty easily. But whatever. I got it in hand, pulled it out, felt it ergonomics, and I was like, I don't love this. But I was convinced that I was going to love it, so I bought it anyways. And I got it home and I used it and played with it. This knife's actually been through a little bit of hell. Nothing too crazy, but it has definitely been used. Little bits of scratches here and there, if you can see that, but nothing too crazy again. And I went from actually really not liking it to absolutely loving this knife. We were 4 minutes in. I'm just letting you know from my standpoint as one, a user, as two, somebody with 2XL hands. In particular, I have super big, wide fucking hands and these little bullshit stubby fingers. So from that perspective, the ergonomics to me are amazing. This knife to me is a 9. I'm not going to give it a 10, though I kind of want to give it a 10. I'm not going to lie. If this was my personal score for everything, it'd probably be a 10. For me, it's a 10. I fucking love this knife. For you, it's probably an 8 or a 9. But for me, 10 all day long. But let me tell you why. First and foremost, this blade is so badass. Not only does it look really just super unique, it cuts extraordinarily well. Like, it is a freaking laser beam. It's a really, really good knife. When you're actually being able to, because this knife is so big, look, get all this off the edge. So I can choke up, be able to do really solid push cuts and actually get some work done. Can also choke back, still have room, and be able to really just kind of just do some basic draw cuts, pull cuts, and everything else. I've also did some light feather sticking with this knife, and it's not the best at feather sticking, but it is way the fuck better than most of my folding knives by far, so that's already great. Beyond all that, the carbon fiber, ew. One second, folks. So I've been eating a lot of weird shit lately, and I just burped, and I got a mixture of hot Cheetos, some really bad Taco Bell. I mean, this shit was horrible. I took one bite of it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this has been sitting in the sun for too long. Disgusting. Like, this god-awful fucking peach tea that I got from this restaurant called Zaxby's or something like that, that they literally didn't even bother to actually mix the drink, right? It was just sludge. And I fucking took a slurp of that shit and then slid down my throat like a goddamn slug. It was disgusting. So I'm tasting all of those damn things. All the hot sauce I eat on a regular fucking basis. The chicken that I just ate a little bit ago. And just a whole lot of stomach acid. So, kind of random, a little off topic, but that burp is so bad it made me dizzy. I fucking burped, inhaled it, and I went, whoa. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, that was terrible. But anyways, these scales are absolutely freaking beautiful. Not only are they just made really, really well, have fantastic fit and finish, but all the little cutouts, there's no hot spots. Everything is nicely chamfered and rounded out and just, it freaking feels amazing, but it also just looks extraordinarily good. This isn't a massively pretty knife. Because of the size of it, and because it has this kind of like swooping thing, which I actually really did not like at first, you're able to just hold it, and it just cradles your hand. Most knives you hold, and they're either going to be hot spots or they're not. This knife kind of holds you back. This is basically the big spoon knife, because you hold it, and it holds your back. I really, really like it, man. If you're a freaking mall ninja, it feels great in the reverse grip. I don't know why you would do this, but, it's a thing apparently, so if you wanted to, I don't know, cut your steak like this, you could do it. It'd work. But more than anything else, man, just like this as a casual piece or again choked up, this feels phenomenal. The ergonomics to me, once I really kind of got used to it, because originally I was holding it down here, and I was like, this feels bad, but it's not supposed to be done that. It's supposed to literally be in these little pieces right there, and once you do, it just locks your hand in and feels amazing. I have, again, put this thing through a little bit of hell, some genuine work, and I didn't feel any hot spots. There's no hand fatigue. There's no, cramping or anything like that. Again, this is the Spyderco Big Spoon. It'll hug you back. As far as the clip, now, don't get me wrong, this is 100% functional. It's your basic Spyderco clip. But for the price of this knife, man, can we get a milled clip? Can we get something just fucking cool? I got something being made right now, so, it's not a huge deal. But, really, just the regular ass, bent clip. You freaking pimped all this out, made it beautiful and badass, and just gave us this. Come on. Not the best, not the worst either. I don't necessarily mind the Spyderco clips, but for me, it is a slight hot spot when you are down below her. But again, because this knife is so goddamn big, you can do that. Just move it up a little bit more, and then you still got room. Everything's still comfortable, and it fits. And there's no hot spots, and it's just an ergonomic dreamboat. I actually don't know what I meant by that. An ergonomic dreamboat. That's a weird way to put it. But I really, really like it. As far as the action, it does middle finger flick reliably just fine. For me, because I love the slow rolls, you guys know. Ooh, it slow rolls like butter. It's not quite Sabenza smooth, but it's pretty goddamn close. And I'm really, really liking it. And it's actually gotten a little smoother over time as well. So this might break in something really, really good. Now this is with a fully tightened pivot. There is no side to side, no up and down, completely rock solid. If you want it to drop, loosen pivot just a little bit, and it'll drop down like a freaking guillotine. But for me, just a little nudge, that's good enough. I don't need the freaking drop shut craziness. Just be able to take it like that, hold its own, bam, bam. Try again. There we go. So for me, that's good enough. Clip, not ideal. Grind of the blade, fucking fantastic. Scales, I love them. I wish I could get this camera to focus properly, but there's no voids. There's no issues. There's a slight little bit of like almost holographic nature to them. When you actually look at them in the sunlight, they almost like shine like they're alive. It's badass. Amazing ergonomics. I love the style of the knife. Look at the way the actual piece cuts out right there. Just there's always little bitty subtle things about this that just make it awesome. Now to be clear, the G10 one has the majority of these things as well. But the carbon fiber really, and I mean just really sends it off. Originally, I was actually going to have these scales taken off and put like a OD green micarta in there, something like that, because that's what I like. But as soon as I saw it in person, I was like, fuck that. Like this knife as just completely stock, perfect. Like this is beautiful. This is more than I thought I wanted. There's also a little bit of texturing on the carbon fiber, so there's like no slip. Like carbon fiber is slippery as shit, but like this isn't going anywhere. Like I have my fingers in the hole. I'm really fucking trying here, and it's not going anywhere. You can see my fucking biceps shaking. I'm basically fighting myself right now, and it's not going anywhere. It isn't an aggressive grip. You're not gonna like really feel it in the hand or anything like that. It's like you could just do that. Feel a little bit of texturing. It isn't like freaking the Umnums on where it's kind of aggressive, though still feels fantastic. It isn't like this to where it's just very like textile feeling that even when you're holding it casually, you can feel it in your hands. It is very, very subtle, but it is just enough to give it this perfect grip and to be this ergonomic, I'm going to say it again, dreamboat. I still don't know what that means, but it just sounds funny. The ergonomic dreamboat knife. That'll hold you back. The big spoon knife. It makes me happy, y'all. That's the best way I can put it. Whenever I carry this knife, I am happy. It is big. It is scary. I'm in the South now. I'm thinking, I can pull out a big knife. No one's going to be even batting an eye. I pulled this out and did that. Everyone's like, ah! I was like, oh, sorry. My bad, y'all. I'm just opening a bag of chips. Like, my bad. So now I just do that, and they still go, ah, but it's not quite as pronounced. You know, I figured to be in the South, everyone carries big knives, big guns, you know, being a stereotype, basically. But not entirely the case. This knife will still scare the shit out of people. And if you're in California, they might dive underneath a fucking table. But it's great, man. It is fantastic. I know right now they are still available. Get them. Whenever they are gone, they will eventually go for big money. And honestly, that big money, it'll be worth it. Like, this knife is not going to be sold, not going to be traded. Like, I love this knife. This is what I was hoping for, dreaming about. I wasn't a fan of the carbon fiber originally, but then I got it in the hand and I was like, hallelujah. Amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. This knife, for me personally, as I already said, is a 10 out of 10. For the average person that wants like a small, easy, friendly knife, it's probably like a 2 out of 10. Let's be realistic here. This knife, if you're one of those type of people that want like a small Sabenza or like like a PM2 or whatever, or like a freaking Benchmade bug out or a Narrows, or just want the smallest, thinnest knife possible, this is not for you. If you're that guy, probably a 1, 2, maybe even a 0 out of 10. You'll probably hate this. But if you like big knives, if you like cool shit, if you want the blade that hugs you back, Love Boat style. I can't keep a straight face when I say that. Get the Spyderco knives Subvert in particular, Sprint Run, and CPM 20CV, which, as far as I can tell, by the way, has a bitchin' heat treat because this thing has gone through some pretty rough material. And I was like, don't chip, don't chip, don't chip. Perfect. Not a chip at all. Still sharp as fuck. I've cut myself with this thing a couple different times. You can't actually see it right now because I freaking heal really fast. But I don't know if you can see that or not. I literally cut myself and like it went through this whole little fatty piece of my thumb and it was just kind of hanging off. I was like, oh shit. Put some super glue on, left it alone, and it's already fucking healed. Because I'm weird. I heal hella fucking fast. But it will cut the shit out of you. So be careful. One thing I do want to say, and I want to give a little bit of preface to this as well, though. This knife opened up in my pocket. Now, don't let the alarm bell sound like I'm trying to deploy it right now. It's not going anywhere. If I whip it, obviously it's going to open up because I'm really putting a whole bunch of force down. But just as far as generalized stuff, like it's not going anywhere. I was skating. I was also falling. Was riding around on my XR, fucking around with a couple friends of mine or whatever, hopping in and off of the damn thing. At one point, I got sent off like a fucking rocket, hit the ground, went and just fucking torpedoed. So I don't know if it opened up in my pocket while I was doing that. Because for me personally, after it was all said and done, went to the local little corner store or whatever, and they have these like fucking bubble sodas that have like a wax top. It's fucking annoying. I pulled the knife out to take the wax top off, and I reached in my pocket, and the blade was just open. So I went, shh. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't feel it. I felt like a weird, almost like a pressure sensation. No pain. It cut so clean that there was no fucking pain. A whole shitload of blood, though. So I don't know, again, if the D10 is a little off, because it doesn't seem like it's off at all. If that was just a one and done, because it's not, again, it's not going anywhere. Okay. It scared the fuck out of me. I'm barely holding it so when it opened up, I was like... But if you whip it out hard, like, it will reliably come out. So it's not super strong. It's not great. So be careful. Maybe that's just me, because I was just acting around being a fucking idiot and doing stupid shit or whatever and playing too rough with a knife that I just barely got. I don't know, but can't talk. For full argument's sake, be careful. It might open in your pocket. It might not. I don't fucking know. Even still, I love the knife so goddamn much. It happened that one time. It has not happened since. So again, I think it's just because I was literally rolling around on the fucking ground and doing stupid shit and just being a giant ass kid, which is actually how I broke my fucking leg. It wasn't that day. It was like 2 days later, but doing the same shit. So, being pretty dumb. So I am pretty sure that is the reason why it happened. But just for argument's sake, be kind of careful until you're really, really sure. Because from the factory, that knife is a laser beam and it will cut you deep. It also cut a buddy of mine to the bone. I actually don't know what he was doing with it, right? We're just hanging out at the fucking store. He asked to borrow my knife. So, here, ah! And I'm like, what? And he has like, this part of his hand is just fucking gushing. Like you could literally see white. I was like, oh, fuck. Now, for him, again, didn't feel any pain. Just looked down. I was like, ah. So, again, it's very, very sharp, y'all. Be careful. I'm also very much rambling right now. So, again, if this knife appeals to you, if it looks cool to you, if you like big, beautiful, badass knives, don't wait. Get it. You'll love it. And if you don't, then you can probably sell it for full retail anyways. So fuck it. But again, for me personally, 10 out of 10, man. This is my big spoon. Look at that. It hugs your back. Anyways, as always, folks, I love you all. Please take care. And bye-bye. The Love Boat.